Alright, hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video on the Flow of Consciousness, a YouTube channel. And today we will be talking about learning. So I committed to learning something new every single day for 30 days in a row. And in this video I will share with you what I learned from learning something new every day, right? Very interesting topic, I believe. Now, the first thing I want to start sharing with you is the fact that learning is hard. It's getting outside your comfort zone. It's exploring undiscovered territory, right? You have to allow yourself to be back in the shoes of a student. You have to set aside your ego and understand that you're a beginner at something. You're a beginner at something. You're always a beginner at something. So there's always something you can learn. And so committing to learning something new every day, actually it's a lifelong commitment. I learn new things since forever, since I was born, basically. We all do, in a way. Now, you can deliberately and consciously challenge yourself to learn something new every single day, and this will stretch your mind. It will learn you a lot of things by learning something new. You will learn the skill of learning, which I believe is one of the crucial things you need to develop, one of the crucial skills you need to develop in your lifetime, basically, especially in a modern day age. Learning is one of the most important things. Quick learning is one of the most important skills to have, because we are in such a fast evolving society nowadays that if you are not learning, you regress, you get left behind, right? So I would advise you to make it a habit to learn something new every day, and it can be small things. It can be a few words from a new language, it can be a new skill, it can be art, it can be performing, it can be relationship skills, whatever it is. Pick something that interests you, pick something that you intuitively feel drawn towards, and by doing that you will find it so much easier to then find ways to work with it and to make yourself actually commit to learning, right? So don't try to make it too hard for yourself, but you also don't want to make it too easy for yourself, because when there's a little bit of challenge, you stretch your muscles, you stretch your mental muscles, you stretch your comfort zone. And this is a good thing, because the more you do that, the easier it will become to learn something that is far beyond your comfort zone, right? You will not be able to immediately go to a whole new country without any fears, but you will be able to pick up your phone, install Duolingo, and practice a few words without feeling tremendous fear. Like, one is maybe a huge step in your comfort zone, and another one is a smaller one. But if you add up these things, you install the app, you start to learn the language a little bit, maybe next day you learn something about the culture, maybe next thing you start to look on Facebook in a group where you can meet some person from this country, and you decide to meet up and you talk about their experiences, whatever it is, right? Small things, but eventually you will be able to then take the big leap, for example, for something that you might want to achieve in the future, like, for example, traveling to another country, or starting a new business, or creating a piece of art, whatever it is, right? But so the second thing that I want to share with you that I learned by learning something new every single day is that initially there is a lot of resistance towards the learning, right? I find myself really procrastinating on it sometimes. I'm like, like, for example, today I wanted to learn how to edit some Reels videos for Instagram, and I was like, man, it's going to take so much time to learn this, how to use these programs to cut and edit everything, and it's going to require so much effort for me to do that. But I decided to commit to my learning something new every single day, and I pushed through. And once I got into the flow, once I got learning, I realized that, hey, this is actually quite fun, and I'm acquiring a new skill. And as I was learning, I got this sense of achievement, you know, we as humans, we are actually wired to learn. As babies, we are helpless beings, and we learn super fast, right? But we actually continue to learn long after we are adults, right? We can learn until death, basically. There is something called neuroplasticity, which means that your brain is able to adapt basically forever until you die, right? So by stretching your neuroplasticity of the brain, you train this skill inside yourself, right? So me pushing through the initial discomfort of not wanting to learn it, but then realizing that I committed to learn something new, I then started to feel this sense of accomplishment, and it made me feel very good about myself. And I realized that, okay, all the time and effort that I put in now into learning this, I will be able to take it with me in the next day, tomorrow, next week, next year. So learning is an accumulation, right? You can learn something new, and unlearning, it's also possible, of course, if you really don't pay any attention to it. But usually, let's say you learn to ride the bicycle. In the beginning, it's very, very hard, right? It's difficult. You fall down, you get back up. It's frustrating. It's very difficult. You're afraid, maybe, whatever. But once you get the hang of it, once you realize, okay, this is how I ride the bicycle, then you can quit riding a bicycle for, I don't know, 5, 10 years. And then you pick up a bike, and maybe the first few seconds is like, oh, what was this? But then all of a sudden afterwards, you again can retrieve this information that is stored in your system, in your body, in your brain, and it becomes very easy to again ride the bicycle, right? So learning things is an accumulation, and you don't lose the effort you put in. It's the same thing with the language. Even if you learn just a few words, you will remember them. And when you find yourself in a situation where you meet a person from that country and you know a few words in their language, this can immediately spark a very interesting conversation. They can be like, oh, where did you learn this? And they feel understood. There's this connection. So everything you learn is useful. And that is the third thing that I want to share in this video, is that whatever you learn, it's never a waste of time. Even if it's something that you will not necessarily use every single day, it's still something that you can use maybe later on in your life. I want to make a little remark on things that you learn that are unuseful too, though, because there is a lot of things that we learn as human beings. For example, there is a lot of socialization going on, things that we learn growing up, that maybe speaking up is not right, we should be quiet, we should behave, these things, right? These are not useful things. So you want to learn how to make a distinction between the things that are actually useful for you to keep learning, and then you also want to acquire the skill of unlearning. Now, unlearning is actually the reverse of learning, obviously, but usually it doesn't really work like that. How it usually works is that we want to replace something that we learned with something new. So actually, unlearning is actually a new process of learning. You see what I mean? So if you have some behavior that you really don't like about yourself, for example, you shut down when somebody asks you to share something in class, for example, you get shy and you think that it's not supposed to be like that, right? By unlearning, you can try to practice maybe in your home to imagine yourself being asked something and then uttering a few words, for example, in front of the mirror, whatever works for you, right? Or with your friend, whatever, when they ask you a question, reply immediately. And you want to relearn a behavior in this specific situation. And once you do that, you will be able to more automatically apply it in the situations where it's necessary. So to wrap it up, I believe that learning something every day is a very useful thing to commit yourself to. It's a very valuable thing to commit yourself to, because it will build a body of knowledge, not only in your mind, but it can also store in your body. For example, movement, dancing, creating, right? These things, they get stored in the body. And if you consciously choose the things you want to learn, and you unlearn the things that you unconsciously learn, the negative things that you unconsciously learn, by replacing them with new things that you deliberately choose, you consciously decide to put in the things inside your brain, inside your body that you want. If you do this on a continuous spectrum, continuously every single day, then I can assure you that if you start doing this today, if you look back on yourself a year later, you will be a completely different person. You will be a totally developed person. You will be a way more nuanced person, a person who chose to improve themselves consistently over the years, over every single day. And this is what I want to end this video with. So I want to thank you for being brave. I want to thank you for looking inwards and working on yourself, and thus making the world a better place one step at a time. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you in the next one. Bye.